What you tell the audience not to do coming up as an entrepreneur? Because a lot of people say, "Oh,
the don'ts."
The don'ts. One or two things that you would say that hold you back.
The most dangerous thing in business is what you don't know that you don't know. So don't forget that there's people out there that know more than you. So go find them and make them your mentor, because they can save you more money before they've already made the mistake.
Right.
If you go to them hat in hand, there's a list of guys all over the country. Thomas Phoenix up in New Jersey, Sean and Eric and Gary that have helped me out loads. Mike in Colorado. These guys are multi-millionaires you'll never know about. I got in an organization. I found these men. They helped me. Dylan and Tim Seiler up north in the Northeast. You know, these guys, man, like they helped me see things before those things hit me. And for that reason, I dodged a lot of punches that I probably would have took. And so just remember that there are guys out there that are tycoons in the industry, in your industry, whatever you're in. Nobody knows about them, but they're in some association somewhere. And if you just go to them hat in hand and say, I need help, they will help you. They will show you things that you would have otherwise not known, and it'll save you millions of dollars. And it might be the thing that keeps you in the game or that brings you more business. So I would say just be humble and go find those guys and shut your mouth and use the 2 ears, because those guys have something that they have something to show you, and they'll be glad to do it. I promise.
Don DeMarco, man. That's some good advice.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Some good advice, man.
For sure. And the more nuanced and niche down you are, the more you have to be good at your craft, and you really got to seek out those people that have kind of already done what you've done. Because you know, you're playing at a high level, and we're talking about big margins here. You're talking about 35% margin, which is I mean, is that the normal? Like that's a high margin. I would say.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, you know, you have overheads and stuff like that. But I mean, dude, there's times when we hit big margins, bro. I redid.
So 35 is minimum.
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for.
Bro, that's fantastic.
But I do a buyout after that. So we estimate at 35%, and then I go in after the fact and I try to crunch that thing. So it's like if we were to buy a property, right?
Yeah.
Let's say me and you buy a property.
Oh,
right?
speaking of which, we'll make an announcement on that here in a second.
So we're like, okay, we bought it at this price.
Yeah.
So the cap rate was a 7.
Yeah.
Cool. But if we go in there and we do this, and we can raise rents by $200. So it's like, what can I do to maximize that profit after I get the contract?
Yeah.
So I do that, man. And I have a huge pre-construction list where I like go through the contract, strike out retainage, make it a better number for us for cash flow, all these different things we do to make that margin better. And so, you know, dude, there's jobs. I made $200,000 in a week when I was in Dubai. Yeah, we had a re-roof job, and we had an opening with one of our best guys. And we told him if he did it in a week, we'd like bonus him like 10 G's. The contract was for like, I don't know, like $500,000. Dude, he did it in a week, bro. And I fucking
What do you build? What was the project?
It was a roof. So there was a roof that was leaking from a hurricane in Lake Charles. So we had to take the roof off the building.
In Lake Charles?
Yes.
Okay.
So hurricane hit Lake Charles, fucked it up bad. This building's leaking. Big insurance deal. The GC calls us, hey, we need to re-roof this job. And we had like a month in it. And we're like, bro, I'll give you 10 G's if you finish it in a week. Motherfucker did it. I made $200,000 in 5 days.
That's awesome.
Bro.
There's a huge gambling market there. You know, for those of you guys that don't know, Lake Charles is
Lake Charles. Yeah, that's all they have. It's shit town.
Yeah, it's
Yo,
it's industrial gambling.
From.
Yeah.
So my guy said 200K in a week.
200K in a week.
Man, I did that song High Value Man. Do it over. 200K in a week. That's some high value shit right there.
That was one job. I probably made $350 that week because we had other jobs going on. But like, I mean,
and you're able to just do it remotely. Because like you were in Dubai the whole time. Yeah,
I was in Dubai when that happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's about systems.
Yeah.
I have business systems. I did a year and a half of coaching with eMyth. And that whole entrepreneur, manager, technician, really identifying what systems in the business. And we run EOS now. So EOS is a mixture between eMyth, the book eMyth, which is really, really big on systems, and a series of books from a guy named Patrick Lencioni, the Ideal Team Player, Death by Meeting, the roles of a CEO. It's all the inner human parts of a business. So those two systems come together where we run what's called an L10 meeting.
Okay.
So we have every position in the org board has 5 roles and responsibilities.
Okay.
And a manual. So everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do. And that we come to the L10 meeting at 2:00 every Thursday to review everybody's statistics from the previous week.
Okay.
I know on a daily basis and a weekly basis if anybody's off track, and we just get them back on track.
Okay.
I get a report every day of every position in the company, every job, every margin, every dollar it was spent, by who, every Amex, everything, out the door, in the door, the whole thing. And so systems are really the way that I'm able to travel the world. Well, I have over 100 men in 15 states today, making money.
That's important because think about this, right?
Important.
He is only one man, but his team can do different tasks. And at the same time, having that network of people that you trust and believe in, they can do the work for you. But once again, he's the main person at the very top. So it works out.
So you have 10 guys. Everyone has their role, right? But pretty much like the management is like a 10 tier. You're number one, and then you got your 2 guy, 3 guy, etc. And everyone has their own roles. Man, and obviously that's probably been critical for like scaling up too, right? Because to be able to operate in 15 states, you got to have a very robust system in place.
There's no INT.
Yeah. From California to Boston, all like literally coast to coast. And we're about to do we've done quite a few jobs in the Caribbean. We got one in the Bahamas coming
Barbados, man.
Yeah, man. I go see your people.
What's that like, bro? Is that tough to do? Because it's expensive to live there. So I don't know what it would be like to build out there.
Man, for us, we have a contract a certain amount. It's really about keeping the guys out of trouble. They all every time they go to the island, they think they're fucking Kenny Chesney and shit. I go down there and they're wearing
white boy music.
Yeah, they're playing like white boy music and like wearing wife beaters and straw hats and bead and like shell necklaces and shit.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know what it
crazy.
is, but islanders treat tourists so well, bro. Like if you're a white guy, white girl going to like Barbados or Bahamas or any of these islands, they're like, yo, a king is here, a queen is here. Let's take care of them.
Yeah. So.
No, that's great, man. And then so what are some of the biggest for the people out there that want to be entrepreneurs or whatever and managing so many people? What is one tip you would tell them that they need to have in place to make sure that they can manage and oversee a business?
Well, I think first of all, it starts with being able to step outside yourself.
Okay.
One thing I'm actually been pretty good at is being able to step outside myself and look back at Justin and say, okay, what is Justin good at? And what do I need to fire Justin from? And I'm constantly firing myself from positions. So in the very beginning, right after I started eMyth, I'd make a list of everything I do or everything the business does in a day. And then I started putting positions next to it. I'm like, okay, well, this morning I was on job site. I was a project manager. Then I sent an invoice. And this is like when I'm 25, 26. Yeah. Sent an invoice. Well, that's a bookkeeper. And then slowly I started to put all those things next to positions instead of me. And then I was able to write a manual. And then I put the 5 roles and responsibilities for every position in an org board where I could see the whole picture all the way down to the lowest guy on the totem pole. So from closing the month, I have a month close that's 2 pages long. Where I know everything from my credit card points to the balance sheet to what's called a WIP report in construction, a work in progress, to know where we are on everything, who owes us money, AR, the whole fucking thing. And then all the way to a foreman on a job site where we have something called the project process, where it's every mistake we've ever made is by phase in order, the way you build a building, a checklist that they have to fill out.
Damn.
So I don't mind people making mistakes. In fact, I'll tell you a story. I think it was about a year and a half ago. I lost $18,000 in a day.
Oh shit! How'd that?
And it was on 2 different projects. One was in California, and one was actually in Louisiana, actually super close. And one of them was 17,000. The other one was about 1,000, give or take, change or whatever. Yeah. I wasn't actually upset about the 17 grand. I was fucking furious about the 1,000 because it was on that list.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't mind paying
the
for a
fuck up was egregious. Like the money wasn't the problem.
Was on the project process.
Yeah.
He didn't check the box, bro. He didn't follow the system. He didn't run the play correctly. And that's what upset me.
Okay.
So the other thing, okay, fine. I paid 17,000. Cool. Put it in the project process. That way nobody has to make the mistake again. Yeah. But the guy that made the $1,000 mistake, I fired him.
Wow.
And I kept the $17,000 mistake. Kept him. He's still with me.
Wow.
Shit.
because
that-
intention is everything.
Because that mistake could potentially ruin other things, and it's a foundational mistake.
Because that mistake had already happened and it was in the process, and he didn't follow the process.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So
Okay.
the $17,000 mistake was a new mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll pay for that mistake and I'll put it in the project process. It's a system, right? But the mistake the $1,000 guy made,
Completely
Was already
avoidable.
there.
it was already in the process. He could have easily handled, like, it shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
And for that reason, I let him go. And the guy that made the $17,000 mistake, he's still with me. No problem. It's in the process.
Can you tell? Can you? I don't know if you want to say. Can you tell the people exactly what the mistake is? Maybe some entrepreneurs out there that might want to run a steel business. Or,
Man, the $17,000 mistake was something. What
if you
was
can
it?
recall.
It was something to do with flashing at what's called a parapet wall.
Okay.
And he didn't do it correctly. Like he did. I'm trying to remember what actually he did. Maybe it was a special detail where he should have run the seamer a certain way. There's
Okay.
a seamer you run out there
Yeah.
on a standing seam roof. This is very technical, where there's a male and female leg, they snap together.
Okay.
And like he didn't do something with hand crimping or something
User
like
error.
that. It was something.
So-
it was something that wasn't that
So
big a deal.
basically, the list of policies there, he didn't follow the $1,000 guy, and at that point, hey, you could easily avoid it, so you're fired.
What was the mistake for the 1K though?
The 1K, it was I think it was a whole bunch of screws. We're supposed to do inventory. So when you unload a truck on the first day of the job,
Okay.
you'll have 5, 6, 18-wheelers show up.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to do inventory
First day. Before
First
the
day.
work starts.
first day.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't do it. And so it turns out that there were a bunch of things missing. Well, because we didn't do inventory on the first day, the contractor said it was us. And so we had to buy that screw package. But it's not just like a little thing of screws. It's like a fucking crate of screws.
Yeah.
And they're actually not cheap.
Yeah.
So it costs like $1,200 or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it pissed me off because he could have just done what he was supposed to do.
Okay.
Right?
Now I see how egregious that was. Now
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm glad, like, because now the audience sees that's a foundational problem.
It's a foundational problem. Like, look, here's the play. Run the
Now you're liable.
Run the
Not
fucking
liable.
play, bro.
Yeah.
Run the play. Because I can't legally take it out of his check.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
And then if the contractor was a big dickhead, they could like come at you for something else. Like, oh, yeah, I didn't do this. You didn't do that.
I'll tell you exactly what they could do. They could say, because you didn't check for the screws, because the screws are not here, you're now waiting on screws, which means you're late. And now I'm going to hit you with liquidated damages of $3,000 a day.
Damn.
Luckily, it was a car dealership, not a school.
Mm.
You know, it was a big car dealership, big Toyota dealership.
Are state projects a pain in the ass to do, bro?
I tell you what's
schools,
hard.
roads, that type of
Working
stuff?
for the Corps of Engineers is tough.
Okay.
Because you have a lot of times what's called certified payroll.
Okay.
And you got to nail it, dude. And so you have to pay the guys the rate for what they do. It's almost like union.
Okay.
So like identifying. So you have to go by, there's a state sheet and you pay them that, plus you pay them what's called fringe benefits.
Okay.
So let's say you got a steel guy, he's normally making 22. He's going to make 27 now, plus another 7 and change in fringe benefits. And you got to fill out a form a certain way, Bacon Davis projects.
Wow.
So yeah, dude, they're not fucking around, bro. Like commercial construction is legit. We do a little industrial as well. And it gets even worse.
Okay.
So